What if the things that you're doing to keep yourself healthy are actually in the long run making you unhealthy? That is something that Frank is going to be talking about today. This is Rich Life, and here's the Rich Life podcast where we have transformative conversations that help you understand yourself more deeply so that you can thrive in your life. And today's guest, Frank Dominick, he's with Ageless Adventure, and he is a health and wellness coach, but he does it through in a little bit different way. He does it through adventure. So he helps middle-aged people who might be a little bit stuck, who might be a little bit kind of down in the dumps or not feeling their best, live their best and create more excitement and adventure in their lives. Welcome, Frank.
Yeah, thank you, Rich. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. It's helping them to just elevate their life and their health, so that through adventure, and that adventure could be anything. It's what their passion is. You know, what their life, the vision that they always had for their life, or maybe it was something that uh, a life that they never truly thought they could ever achieve, but wanting.
Yeah. So they have a desire to have this life that's exciting. I think everybody wants that, right? You want an exciting life. You want something that is adventurous. And but there's also a part of us that's kind of scared too.
Right. Right. I mean, I was just talking to someone the other day who thinking about joining my program, and and that's his. Um, I just lost my train of thought.
You were talking with somebody about maybe that it might be scary.
Right. Yeah. So right. Absolutely. Thank you. Um, yes, I'm getting old. Um, so yeah. So he was telling me how he just feels so comfortable in his little world, in his comfort zone. There's fear, once you step out of your comfort zone. So he has this fear of trying anything new, anything different. So he's kind of stuck in this little world that he does the same thing. He's not growing. He's not trying new things. Um, and he said he just feels good there. In which I mean, yes, it's comfortable, but we want to be able to, because we're only going to grow if we make things a little uncomfortable. We go into that outside the comfort zone, and there's a saying I've heard where it says, be learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So allow yourself to be okay with that uncomfortable feelings.
Yeah. And the way that I see comfort zones is that they're kind of like a prison that you create for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and they're actually made of your own thought, your own fears, your own insecurities. So kind of the cool thing is that not only are you the prisoner, but you are also the warden. Like you're the only one with the key.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's great. I love that analogy there, because it is. You're putting yourself there
Hmm.
and keeping yourself there, and you're the only one that's going to be able to get yourself out. Sometimes you need help doing that, but you're the one that needs to want the change.
Yeah. And I think we all have maybe a part of us that wants the change, but also a part of us that doesn't want the change.
Well, right, right. I know. I mean, I was in that position for a little while.
Hmm. Yeah. So, and you speak from experience. So you had a hard time where in your life that some challenges that caused you to really get stuck, kind of like you help other people now.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it was about 14 years ago. Yeah, I just went through a really, really hard time in my life. And I was very active prior, became very inactive for 5 years. I was depressed. I felt sorry for myself. Um, and I just stayed in that little comfort zone. Um, and I used food to soothe, my feelings and my emotions. And I was in the worst shape I've ever been in my life. 40 pounds overweight and just not doing anything, just out of shape. And that was not the vision that I had when I was younger, when I was looking at my life moving forward and what I wanted it to look like. And I came to a realization after 5 years, it's like, this isn't the vision I had back when I was 14 years old. I always had this vision of being like in shape and working out all the time and being able to be as active as I can, as long as I can, and enjoy my life and have this amazing, say adventurous life. And I wasn't living it for 5 years. So I made that change and I did the work. And what I went through was a really bad divorce. So I had to look at myself also to see, what was it about me and what I was going through that put me in the position of that marriage and going through the divorce. And I also had a business in prosthetics at the time that was falling apart because of all that. So really going through a lot and a lot of loss. And realizing that, it's okay. That's in the past. That happened. Now there's a future, and I can build that future. I can now rewrite my own story.
Yeah. It's very important to be able to see the things in the past as really just kind of thoughts from the past. It's not real anymore. We're kind of borrowing thoughts and bringing them into this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are kind of living them, where our emotions are responding to them. So it sounds like you were able to identify that and then move forward.
Right. Just identify, being aware of those things that had me stuck and feeling bad about myself, and having those feelings of, not good enough, unworthiness, not really deserving, of the life that I had envisioned. But becoming aware that, okay, these are the things that, and finding, okay, why did I get to that point? I traced things all the way back to my childhood and was able to kind of put together a time, this timeline or whatever it was that brought me to the place I was at, that horrible place, and once you are aware and you understand those things, now you can move forward and not allow those things. They'll come up from time to time, those emotions, but you can manage those much better now when you have the tools, and and you're aware of it, instead of just being kind of oblivious of why I'm feeling this way.
Mm-hmm. Awareness is, and understanding is the most important thing that you can do. We talked about this earlier,
Mm-hmm.
that when you have the awareness and the understanding, things get a lot easier, health gets a lot easier, because you're not fighting yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right. And we tend to do that. We tend to fight ourselves, and we put ourselves down. We are very hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that way. Again, this gentleman I was speaking with the other day, that's all he was doing, was putting himself down as we were talking, and I had to continue to kind of break that a little bit, that thought that he had, you're not, there's got to look at things more positive. You can't look at, if we keep, looking at ourselves as bad, and we keep using negative phrases and words, then of course we're going to continue to be that way. You just kind of flip that script and start looking at things more positively, looking at things that we're grateful for. Instead of looking at all the bad things that are happening in our lives, start listing the things that are going well and what we're grateful for and what we do have that's positive.
I like that you use the word listening there too, because listening is very important when we listen to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Because there's a lot of times, I mean, the things that I have gone through, there were times I didn't listen to myself, and it got me into the some of the positions that I was in, because I could see it, I could hear it, but I would ignore it. And it's like, when people say like, oh, you can see the red flag there, but you tend to then, well, now you justify like, no, that's not that bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and when you start to listen to yourself, you're going to and truly listen, not just kind of like you would listen for information, but listen for the depth of, listen for that understanding, listen for that awareness.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the true transformation takes place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. And that's where I finally made that transition, and said, okay, enough's enough, because I mean, I was doing the work throughout that time also, but it just, something clicked, and there was an event that I did that actually put me, to that point where I was like, okay, I need to change, because I entered a 100-mile bike race with a lot of hills, like 8,000 feet of climbing or something like that, and without any training, not doing anything for 5 years. Pounds overweight, and going and doing that and having a miserable time and not enjoying it at all, where I've always done those kinds of races and always enjoyed them. And I said, this is not what I want for my life. I want to be able to do this and enjoy it, because this is what really brings me pleasure. It's like one of the things, like going out and being active, being able to do these things, but not suffering through it. I mean, there is some point of suffer, but it's enjoyable.
Yes, we want the good, the hurt's good, not the hurt's bad.
Right.
Well, and that actually brings us really back to what I mentioned in the beginning was the problem, was that people are doing what they think they need to do in order to be healthy, be active, have an exciting life. But you said that they might not be doing it in the right way. And then you mentioned something about true health. Could you talk more about that?
Sure. Yeah. So true health is really having your bodily systems regulated in a way that they're functioning the way they're intended to function. So going kind of back to like biology 101, and how your body functions and what starts that process, and how each thing kind of works to help the next. So instead of doing these fad diets and quick fix diets, that are out there, there's so much out there, so much information: low carb, no carb, low sugar, no sugar, low fat, all high fat, only eat meat, all these things that it's going to get you the results you're looking for, but at what cost? And the cost is actually your true health. Because yes, you might not be healthy when you started these programs, but because of the process and the way that these programs are getting you to the result you're looking for, that weight loss, it's actually damaging your health even further. So you might be nice, you might look great, thin, but you're not really healthy. So there are ways of doing things that follow biology that really will give you that true health, where in a lot of these other programs, you're still on a diet, never ending diet throughout the rest of your life, because you have to maintain that type of a either eating or workout schedule in order to maintain what you've done. But when you have true health, you don't have to diet, and you're not dieting even through the program. You're learning how to live, you're learning to fuel your body and fuel your body with the foods that are going to provide that healing of the body, the healing of metabolism, to then eventually gain that true health, so that you can live your life actually eating more, working out less, because your body is going to be working efficiently and optimally. Not to say that you can just go ahead and just start eating junk again, but it's like when you go to a function, you go to a party, and most people that have done those other programs, they're stressed out when they go to these, because it's like, I know there's not going to be anything there I can eat. What do I do? Do I have to eat before I go? Do I bring my own food? So it's just very stressful. Or they just go ahead and eat whatever's there, and then they guilt themselves later. So isn't it better to go to these functions and not have to worry about what is there to eat? You can eat that, and your body, you're going to maintain your weight, because just going out to have a good time at a party is not going to derail what you've already done, because you've done the work to gain that healthy body and healthy metabolism.
This is really important, because I was a weight loss coach for 5 years.
Yeah.
And I saw that again and again, that people would come in, they would want that, the weight loss. They want that, but they would stress themselves out to get there through exercise. They would say, I need to exercise, I need to do this, I need to do this. And so what you're saying is that when you do it from that mind frame, it's almost having the opposite effect, because you are dysregulating your body, and you are not listening to your body. You're trying to force things.
Right. And that exactly, I like that, what you said about forcing things, because that's what a lot of these other programs do. You're forcing something that's not natural for your body. Your body needs fuel. A lot of these programs restrict calories and food groups like carbohydrates, sugars, things like that. And they restrict them so much that once you start to incorporate later, you're going to start gaining the weight back. And the stress of too much exercise also, it's just stressing. What you're doing is adding stress to an already stressed out system. So you want to eliminate stress. What we want to do is eliminate stress and not force, like forcing people into a calorie deficit. Allow the body to heal, and then the body will then eventually go into a calorie deficit naturally, and you're gonna lose weight. You'll lose weight prior to that, even, because a lot of people are not eating enough because of these like diet cycles in these low calorie diets, where once you start incorporating more calories, some of them will gain a little bit of weight, but some will start losing weight, because it's starting to spark that metabolism to kind of work a little bit more. And you find, oh wow, I'm eating more, but I'm either maintaining or I'm starting to lose.
Yeah. It's almost like you have to go in the opposite direction to feed and nourish your body, so that it can take care of you. And the other part that I really love is that especially with your business, it's Ageless Adventure. So instead of like, you need to be on a strict exercise regimen, it's like, let's go have adventure, and you're going to be burning calories. But that's kind of like the byproduct. That's kind of like the side effect of you having fun, and you're doing it from a place of joy and excitement, and not a place of stress.
Right. Because a lot of people, maybe some people don't want, they're not really, will enjoy lifting or working out. It's just not for them. So why force that? So you're just forcing things for people, like, what you have to do this. Well, then it becomes, a almost like a job, I have to go too. Oh, I have to do this, instead of wanting, and enjoying the thing that you're doing. So whatever that activity is, if it's something you enjoy, you're going to want to do it. And when you said like also about forcing, the other thing that like popped in my head was like the no carb, the keto, the carnivore. Um, that is forcing. That's forcing the body to do something that the body isn't designed to do. So it does, but it's only in a stressed situation. So when people are on keto and carnivore, I mean, your body is in a chronic stressed out way. It's going to always be stressed because when you're not getting the carbohydrates and the sugars and things that the body needs, it's going to cannibalize your body. It's going to get it from somewhere. So it's going to get it from your protein, your tissues, your organs, your muscle. So you have muscle wasting, you have damage to organs, which your heart is, one of your most important, your brain. So when that happens, like now the body, when it's in a fight or flight situation, a very stressful situation, it's going to pull, because the quickest way to get glucose is from getting it from the protein and fat. But the preferred source is through carbohydrates and sugars. But when doing keto and carnivore, when it's constantly getting it from protein and fat, you're always in this fight or flight. You're always stressed.
Yeah. Wow, that is huge. Like, I did that weight loss coaching for 5 years. It was all keto based. And that is so huge to realize that is not what the body needs. That is literally stressing the body out so that it's taking from tissues. And that's kind of what they want, is they want the body fat gone, but they're doing it in a way that is really not great for the metabolism, for the body,
Right.
and especially not great for the long term, just like you talked about.
Right, because the most efficient way to lose body fat is at rest. And so if you are healing the body and you are doing the things that you need to do to regulate the systems of the body, healing the metabolism, you will be losing 70% of your body fat is going to be lost while sleeping. So at rest. So the exercise that you do that builds a little bit of muscle, kind of things up, is going to add to that, because muscle is going to increase resting metabolism, but also eating the way you should, sleeping enough. So making sure you're getting the right amount of sleep through the night, so that your body, it's got to be quality sleep, can't be broken sleep, but nice deep sleep, so that your body is now able to do what it needs to do to burn that body fat during that rest, during that sleep. So there's a lot of things, and there's so much more, because the system, it's not even a system, it's just basically metabolic nutrition, metabolic health. So metabolic function, so just the functioning of your metabolism. So really what true health is, and people say, well, your metabolism is the thing that allows you to lose weight, burns calories, burns fat, whatever. But it really is your absolutely true health. So your metabolism being healthy is health.
Yeah. That's awesome. If you can leave our listeners with one little kind of nugget, one little thing that you would just, if they listen to nothing else, but they take this one home, what would that be?
I think there's so many things that I can think of. It's just, I think, like we went back, listen to yourself, and what you are looking for what type of life are you envisioning? So really listen to yourself and not be afraid to go after that, and not be afraid of, maybe the fear of failing, because if you're consistent, you're going to get there. But I know that there's this fear of failing when you try something new. But don't be afraid. Go after the life you want, and don't continue to live your life also based on other people's expectations. Live the life that you truly want, the life that is for you, not for somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah. That's important. That if people can hear that and hear it from that place of listening, from that place of understanding,
because then everything else should start falling into place. You're going to then, if you're wanting to lose weight and everything, you're going to now be in that mindset. Oh yeah, I'm going after this. This is the life I want. I'm not going to be afraid. So now I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this and this, and things are going to start to come together, and it's going to be this. It's just going to start building on itself.
Mm-hmm. It's that mindset. If you have that from the beginning, and that's what I didn't see, is people were coming from that place of wanting the perfect body, and not accepting where they were, and not listening to themselves where they were right now.
Right. Because too many people equate getting to that perfect body as happiness. If they're unhappy, because they're like, oh, if I get to this, lose this weight and I have this body, I'm going to be happy. A lot of people get there. Most people get there, and why am I still unhappy? Because it wasn't about the weight loss.
It's not.
No.
It's not. It's not a. They think that it's some sort of equation, that these are dependent variables, that if I lose the weight, I'm going to be happy. But the happiness doesn't come from the weight. It comes from your thinking.
Right. And if you can start that thinking in the beginning and start loving yourself, like you said, for who you are and where you're at that time, then as you get to the result you're looking for, that result isn't going to be the source of your happiness. It's going to be now part of your happiness. It's going to be added to the happiness that you've already achieved through the other work that you've done for with yourself, with your inner self.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what everybody's looking for. So if you're looking for that, reach out to Frank. How can our listeners reach you?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just read off here. So yeah, my email is agelessadventure dot. I'm sorry. My website is agelessadventure.online, and my email address is Frank Dominick coaching at agelessadventure.online.
Sounds great.
I should have shortened it, but also they can text me at either call me or text me at 570-600-6552.
Great. Well, call and text Frank if you'd like more adventure in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. So I appreciate it,
Frank. Yeah, this was the Rich Life Realization podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah, thank you, Rich.